Hi, and welcome to the Trucking Scribe. It's Esther. Today I was going to do boxes and I got off track, but we are making paper bags from scrapbook paper. This one is actually from a design, and I'm going to have this as a freebie so you can go and get it. The link will be in the description. This one's from 8x8 scrapbook paper, so I'll show you how to kind of get those measurements so you can use any kind of paper. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. So I had planned on making some boxes today and showing you how I went about making my own template, but I have these bags I've been working on and I haven't got to the box yet. So I'm going to show you how I started this to get to this. I went on Canva and made a template for it so I can print it off. And this is basically the template. I don't know if you can see the gray here. I tried to go as lightly as possible on that. But this is this right here. And actually what I'm trying to do with this one is use the whole bag and not have to cut anything, or the whole paper and not have to cut anything. So I'm starting here. I've got this paper from Park Lane, the 8.5 by 11, so it's a regular paper size. I'm going to turn this over. So I started with a 1/2 inch on this side. And I'm just going to write these down and I'll give them to you later. So then I went and I knew I wanted these two markings because this one's going to be the top of the bag. This one's going to be this side where so this one here is going to be this part, where this one is the top part that's going to fold down. And you can see where it goes in there to close that up. And you can do this with pretty much any kind of bags. So then what I decided, I kind of looked at my measurements here. So I've got 8 inches. I need at least enough to cover whatever side piece I'm going to do. And I decided to go with 3. Yeah. So I'm going to go here to 8. I'll put 8 inches. So I've got 2 scores going this way, and then I'm going to turn it. And here's that small little piece. So we want the bottom to be the part that folds up. So I did 6.5, and where I got the 6.5, I need at least half of this to fold up and be bigger. So half of 3 is 1.5. So I decided 2 would be a good measurement, which is 6.5. Having to think, because I did do this before I did it. So 6.5. So now you can see this is going to be the side. Let me get my bag over here. So this is this part. This is this part. This is the side piece right here that connects the 2 pages together. This is right here. And then this is going to be the bottom. So what I do, I go ahead and take the other one. I'm going to score it at the same lines. So if you have directional paper, you definitely need to check. It's still not right in my mind. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to do 1/2 inch here. 8 here. 1/2 inch over here. And to be honest, normally I would do it on this side because it's just easier for me to do. It's just easier to give you the measurements this way. So once you get your score lines, I'm going to take this and fold them. And I do like using my bone folder to fold them because it just makes the crease much better. Okay. So now we have two alike. And one thing that I will tell you is that it needs to be the same directions. So I've distressed these edges so you can see it better. One thing I will tell you is it needs to have this quarter or this half an inch on the same side. So when you are cutting or scoring this direction, you need to make sure that this side is always there and this here is there. So you could actually score it at 3 and then at 10.5, which probably would have been easier for me. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece like this and I turn them this way. I just put glue right along here and I try to get to the edge, but not so much over that edge or at the edge that it's going to spill out and get gross. So then I'm lining up this one with this edge right there. See how these lines are lining up for me? So then I'm just going to fold it like this. And you may need to put a little bit of glue under here and just check it and see. Okay. So now what I'm doing, this was our middle right here. This is where we just glued. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back. So first I'm going to fold this over, this top half an inch, and I'm going to glue it down. Okay, so I got this side over here and the bottom over here. Fold this in half right at this line, which is not half, but it's at that 3-inch mark. Since we already have folded all these and got our score lines, all we have to do is fold this over right there and line it up. And your score lines may be crooked just like mine were, but I just straightened it out by moving it before I glue all this down. So see, I'm putting glue on there. And I don't want to go too close to the edge because that will spill out. See, I got this lined up, top lined up pretty good. Okay. So now we have this. What I do next is I take this and I bring it down to this line right there. Okay. And then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to turn this one the same way. On both sides. So I'm just folding this over and making a score mark. So now what I've done is I've got these fold lines right here. And I distressed them so you could see them. There's one I didn't get. So you can see you got one here, and there's one coming here. And the same thing over here. There's supposed to be. There we go. You see how you got that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this corner in, pull that under, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So push this corner in, and it's going to fold up just like that. So that's what it looks like on the inside. It looks like on the bottom, and the reason I did a little bit bigger than the side piece or half of it is because I wanted these two flaps needed to be enough that they could be glued together. And they're about 1/4 of an inch, and we could go bigger if we wanted to. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue this piece down over here too. And I did find this better than cutting the paper. It made it thicker or made the bottom more substantial to do it this way. It took a while. You can see my other pattern, which this works just fine too. It's just you're cutting off paper when really you can. And I'm going to have this one loaded up on my Etsy store today, my digital store. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a different one like this. So I'm just taking my fingers down here and gluing that. And then I'm going to take this side and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some glue right there. I'm going to run glue across here. Okay, the one other place you need to put glue is right along this edge. Oh, I didn't need to go up that far. So I probably need, yeah, see, I need to stop right there. So really just put the glue across this part right here. And then just push it all together. You can see I got glue popping out, which is okay. And it does take this a minute or two to set up. Now the other thing is we have these flaps in here that are moving. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there. Push it down. I'm going to pull this side up. Same thing. I'm just going to take my little glue bottle and put some glue under there so that it doesn't pop up while we're using the bag. So really you could do this when you first do the folding. Might be easier. But it gives you a nice bag. And this one is 7.5 by 3. So it's 7.5 wide. Let's see how tall it is. 6 inches tall. So let's see where my pen goes. So we'll say this is our bag. This is 7. Yep. Nope, that's 6. 6 inches here. This is the 7.5 right here. And then this little side part right there is going to be 3. So now that we've done that one, let's look at, I've got some other papers. Okay, so I got these a long time ago somewhere. And all I'm going to do is pick 2 pages out of here the same way I just did the other. I don't know that I want the plaid though. I want something, this will work. So if you have a lot of these scrapbook papers that are just paper, you know, they're not real thick, this would make great gifts. So let's do 8 by 8. Again, what I'm going to do is start with a 1/2 inch. Actually, I'm going to start over here because it's easier on my hand to do this way. So 1/2 inch this way. And I'm going to flip it and I'm going to do 1/2 inch here. So if you wanted to, you could do it all this way or whatever. I just like, it's easier on my hand to go here than to try and hold the paper and go there. So this is 1/2 inch again, 1/2 inch. So we're down on our paper. We could do a 2-inch gusset, which would put us right here. Let's see, a little mark there, which would actually leave us. I need some There we go. 5.5. So this would make this 5.5. Let's go ahead and do this 2.5. And this may not work. I may have to go back and rethink what I'm doing. So then I need this bottom part to at least be half of what that is, which is 1.25. So we could do 1.5 on the bottom. The reason we're doing 1.5 is because this is going to fold over each other on both sides. And I will be putting these up on my website again so you can find them. I'm going to turn it over this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and just score. Make sure we're going the right direction. Yeah. So these are really, once you get your measurements down where you want to do the scoring, it's pretty quick. So down here I'm going to do 6.5. So we score here and here at the half and the 2.5. Flip it and score at 1/2 and 6.5. Okay. And I'm just going to fold these up like I did last time. And using my bone folder, I'm making that crease really well. Okay, so this is our template. I'm going to put top up here so remember. But right now we're just playing with this, and since I know that we can do 8.5 by 11, I'm getting my measurements. And right now the printer I'm using, see, we're going to line this back up again. Best we can to where it's even. And like here, I've got a little bit of a, need to move it over just a little. There we go. And it does help when you get these straight in the folding, because if not, it'll crinkle it. I usually do try and just fold this down beforehand and then put the glue on it. You could do stick glue here. It would actually sturdy up your little top side. So then I'm just going to fold this down. And I take my bone folder and do it, just because it makes the creases much nicer. So now, let's see. That's not going to work. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to fold right there. But what I'm looking for is where this will close like this. So you can fold it right here. You can fold it here, but then your little closure is going to be on this side. It just seems easier to do it the other way. I've got a little more room to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to glue that together, kind of holding it and checking my creases. So I hope this is making sense. If it's not, leave me a message and I will try and do a little bit better on the directions of creating your template. So this is your side. What we're going to do is I'm going to fold this little piece up to this line right here. So now we've got more creases, but what's going to happen is the bag will fold down easier. And I'm going to go ahead and do this side while I'm here. And I'm going to open it. And I just flip those around, and I'm going to do this side to the line and this side to the line. So now if we lay it flat like this, you can see where my X is here. You flip it over and there's the other side. Okay, so the bag is flat. We've got our little marks at the bottom, our folds. We're going to open our bag like this. We'll take and push in the middle, just like that, to where these make a kind of a rectangle triangle. So both sides are down. Then this is going to go down, and this one down, and close up our box. But we need to put some glue right here and on this side. And you can use stick glue. You could probably use I'm just going in there with my hand and pushing this down. Get my head out the way. And I'm going to put some more right here, right there, and across that, and across here. And it does take a second for it to set up and dry. We'll put just a little bit of glue underneath. You know what I want to do before we decide about the glue underneath. Okay. Yeah, I would say let's go ahead and fold the center before we do all this other. Yeah. That way you can lay it down like this. And I can see I need a little more glue there. If you look, this is why we need this little bit of a lip so that it will lay over each other. So I do like folding this first. It seemed like it worked better to fold it in. Maybe. Yeah. And you know, paper bags are not perfectly square and all that. You can see mine is a little off. So there you go. Now I have heavy cardstock over here in my thing. So I'm going to put this piece across here. Actually, it looks like I can do it almost straight down the middle. And this would be a good glue stick part to do. And I'm just using scraps that are left over. And I'm going to just stick it right in there. And really, you know, I should have done this at the beginning and put this piece. I didn't think about putting a bag. So if we had to put this piece right here, we could have laid that down and it wouldn't show as much at the top. See, every time I make one, I'm finding different ways that work better. Now, if you didn't want to put a little string on it, little handles, you don't have to do this part. This is just for handles. So I'm just sticking it in there to give that support. It's a little bit too long. See how it's just right there. Okay. Then you can come over here and punch holes. If you wanted to, you could do it this way to where your holes all line up. So you got it folded like that. And you can measure it. Let me see. A little white thing here. So I can do that. 7.5. We could do it 3. Let's do 2. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2 would be right here. And 2 from over here would be 1, 2. A smaller bag. I'm going to go with 1.5. You'll see how I'm just kind of so if you do want to do it like this, I would put this piece in first. Then I'm just going to take a little bit of this. So you got options here. You could run it all the way through. Like this, and you could close it up and tie a cute little bow. So you got that direction. I would trim that off, or you could take, see how cute it is? Or you could take and just do a piece of string on each side and do some knots. And then you would have your, let me pretend that's cut. Then you would have your little handles right here, like that. To be honest, this small of a bag, I do like it, just like this. Let's see, I can get that back in there. And that's one thing you're going to need to look at too, if you want to do it this way. So you need enough where the bag will open. And we'll put a knot right here so it doesn't go through again. I don't know about y'all. I have fun making stuff like this and starting from scratch and just designing. And let's see how that'll hold there. And then you can just, after you put your gift in, you just tie it up. I like that. My bow ain't that great, but no. So that's how you make your own bag from paper. So I do have this piece, and I have the measurements for the other. So we're going to do real quick. We'll put this one together, and I'll have this one loaded up. Actually, what I may do is I'm going to do this as a freebie, so I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So on this, what I have done is I trimmed all 4 sides down to the gray. And if you have 2, you can actually cut them out at one time. I've got 2. I'm going to cut right here and right here. And then I'm going to trim off right there, so that leaves that little box. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Now, right here, you could trim this off, but I'm not going to. I actually kind of like it to help me line up stuff better. But look at, this is all that's left of the paper that we're not going to use. So if I had printed this at full-size page for my printer, I wouldn't have had anything but these little pieces. But my printer right now is protesting and saying, no, we are not doing any more paper for you. So what I'm going to do, and I printed these out on 24-pound paper. I have all kinds of paper, and I just, kind of the same way, I play with my papers and print them out and see how I like the weight and the fold of it. You got to be careful with the lighter weight paper because you can very easily do this scoring and be too hard on the score and score right through your paper. So let's see. So you're going to do both the same way. So this will be the front. This is going to be the back. You just go right here on these lines where the color change. And I'm lining up on this black line that I have on my scoreboard. And I'm just scoring it. Same thing. I'm lining up here and up here. I got one more. So I can kind of see through this paper a little bit. So I can see a little bit of that black. I don't know if you can see it. But now while I was working on this, I put about 50 little bags together, trying to figure out which was the easiest way to do this, because like the other bag, you're trying to figure out what to do with that bottom, how to fold it in there. And there are many different ways to do this folding. And you just score on the fold lines of both papers. So now what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to take this, and have the tops going the same way, the bottoms going the same way. This edge is going to cover up this flap. So I'm trying to line up my pieces here because I know they're straight. I cut this a little bit shorter up there, so I tried to line up the lines. That way you don't see it when it's folded over as much. See? Okay. So we got that piece in there. Then what I do, and you can do this different ways, I just come in and glue this part next. I did it both ways. Well, there are 4 different ways. This first, that first. And this is right now the way that I'm choosing to do it. By tomorrow, I may decide a different way is better. We're all different, so, you know, I know one project I did, and I don't remember what it was right offhand. Rhonda did over at Journal Diva. She did it after me, and she did hers different. The process of putting it together. Let's see here, I forgot to put that little piece in there. This is where we would need to put the little piece to make that stronger. So you got your top, you got this middle piece together, and I'm going to fold this in. You can see right here, here's my other flap. So we're going to put glue right here. And I'm just going to fold this over and do my best to line it up with these lines. So your scores may not quite line up right, but that's where I try and get this to fold and then kind of mess with it. So I'm going to fold this in half, and I think that's going to make a big difference when we fold the final fold. We'll fold this one. So I haven't been doing this way. It's just a step that I decided, let me try it and see. So this time we don't have the folds to mark the lines. We're going to do, just fold these down like this. And then we're going to glue these to each other. See how it's closing up? But this extra paper would actually give it more strength. So that's why I'm leaving it on the other ones. And I may go ahead and put this one up like that. Or like it is right now. Some of the problem I was having was getting this square. So I tried closing the sides up first. I tried closing the sides up last. Okay, so you see the inside, and we got one side down. Now we're just going to do the other side. I'm just going to put a little glue along this edge, not a lot, and then along this part where I know that there's going to be paper. So there it is, nice and pretty. So that's one size I have. This is another size. The same concept, just a little bit different sizes. And I'll be putting these up too. So one side has Merry Christmas, the other side has another deer on this one. Now these, I did put my logo on the bottom flap, but for the ones that I'm selling in my digital store, I'm not going to have that on there. If I'm selling the actual bag, then I will be putting that on. See, like this one doesn't have it. You can see where I'm just crooked and crazy. These were some that I wasn't going to sell. I was probably going to give away as just little gifts because I think I'm going to put some washi tape right here. See that little hole? That's where I scored too hard on it. Here's some others that I did. I like this color. This one was actually my first one. So when you go in here, there's 10 designs like the front. So there's 5 with the Merry Christmas, and then there's 5 with just a little animal on the back, no Merry Christmas. And then I have 2 where you have a blank background that are different. So you could really just print all the ones on the front and then print one back and use that back for a whole set, or however you might want to do it. So these are all in this particular bunch that I'm going to put up today. And this size, what I'm going to do is I will have a link in the description where you can get this one for free. So see how we did the difference? We got our animal on front, design on front, and then over here, I didn't put anything because this is going to be the back of the back. But, so you could do this with no Merry Christmas and just use that one thing for all of your backs. So I have some more little kids and bears. And so, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I am still going to do the box one. I just got on these bags and that was it over here on bags. I hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, there was one other thing. I also wanted to show you these. They're little tea bags. So what you can do, and these will fit almost. You have to kind of squeeze it in there. And this is not printed at full page. This was just whatever the printer did with the edges. But you can put you some little tea bags in here. I don't know why this one's so tight. The other ones weren't quite that bad. But you can do it like that and stick them in there. So this is printed at whatever the printer does, non-borderless. You see, here's some. So then I have this one too, and this is what it looks like when you let me go ahead and cut one out real quick. It might take but a second too. What I did with this is I took and trimmed them out like this first, and then you see this line right here, the black line. I'm taking my X-Acto or box cutter, And I'm lining my ruler up next to the black line and just opening that up. And then, usually I have a lot more than this. But then what I'm going to do is score it right there. What I'm doing is this corner here and this corner, I'm lining up on my black line. The same over here, the same thing. You go from here down to this corner, all the way around. So what I'm thinking about doing is making a box for these. This is one that I had purchased the little template off, but it doesn't fit my little packs. What I'd like to do is to fix one that'll fit this pack, so that will be coming up. I know I said today, but things got crazy. So then all you're going to do is fold all these edges in. I like my bone folder because it does leave a nicer crease. And you take your glue. You don't need a lot of glue on this. You just put some right up to there. And I'm not going all the way to the top with my glue because you see right here that didn't quite go all the way to the top. And you know what I forgot? I kept doing that yesterday too. Was I wanted to clip a notch right here. And this is 1.5 inch. They'll stick now. So then you can just fill these. This has a smaller one. This one did not. So this one, this green one was the smaller one. Let's see what I got in here. So if you had little tea bags like this that are individual, you could just poke them down in there, close them up. Oh, and it smells so good. And like that. So then you've got all of these filled up. And this is just some mulberry tea that I bought years ago. See, I'm not drinking it. Or you could actually. Now, if I sell any of these, I will have closed tea bags like this. I'm not going to open them because it's just the sanitariness of it. So you could just stick it down in there, and then you got the smell of the tea. So I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned how to make some bags from your own paper without measurements. Let's see. This one will just fold in. You kind of have to play with it for packaging. So we did this wide one like this. This one's a little bit bigger, from 8.5 by 11. We did this one from 8 by 8 paper, and it turned out really nice. Then we didn't make these, but I'm going to put these up in the shop, and this is the one that I designed. And I showed you these little tea bag things that will be in my shop too. I've got the reindeer one up already in my shop. These other ones I'm still working on, but they look really cute. And if you have somebody that loves tea, I mean, a perfect little gift. You could just put some good smelling tea in there. And I still am going to make the box. And I think this is what I'm going to make the box for, is these. So leave me a comment and let me know what you think about these kind of bags. If you're going to try and make one from your own paper, if you prefer templates like this one and this one, where I have it already printed for you. And hit the like button, the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and check the link below for this free printable bag that you can practice with. Thank you and have a great day.